Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here. And today I'm actually going to talk about my favorite topic. And the topic is MBA over 30, or even MBA over 40. Or in other words, MBA for more experienced candidates. And the reason I love this topic so much is that there's a bit of a lack of knowledge about this topic. And just now, half an hour ago, I got a call from a 37-year-old asking me, can he still make it for an MBA? What are his options? And there's just so little information about this route that I think it will be a great session. So I'm really excited to be here. I work with a lot of experienced candidates. Let's talk about this a bit more. Let me just tell you about myself. My name is Shimri Winters. I head the strategy here at ARINGO MBA Admissions Consulting. We're a boutique MBA admission consulting firm. We help with everything from chances estimation, school selection, project planning, helping you with the application itself, till we actually have to decide which school to go for. Check us out on aringo.com. We're very good. This was my only marketing slide. Let's talk a bit about the topic. Now, I've actually thought that if people drop off this presentation very, very quickly, can I show them like one slide that explains everything? And I actually found this slide a few years ago on the London Business School website. I think it's a very, very good slide that kind of explains everything. So you might want to go to a regular MBA program, but the regular MBA program might not want you for various reasons. So let's examine what London Business School and all other programs as well are actually looking for. Who are they recruiting? So the business schools have kind of early career programs. These early career programs can be called Master in Management or Master in Financial Analytics or something like that. These programs, if you can see kind of the black in the middle, this shows the years of experience, are for candidates with 0 to 2 years of experience. If you have more than 2 years of experience, this program isn't for you. Now let's move to MBAs. So MBAs have a minimum amount of work experience needed. All top MBAs will mention this, 2 years or 3 years. And on average, most of their students will have 4 to 6 years of experience. You can kind of see this in the slide here in the middle. And you can see this black in the middle on 5 or 4.9 or whatever that is, which is the average work experience for MBA candidates. But there's also something else. There's also candidates that have more work experience. And as you can see in the middle slide, um, in the mid-career, in the MBA, if you have more than 10 or 11 or 12 years of experience, London Business School actually put it at 13. It's kind of capped. You won't be able to get into a regular full-time MBA program. Even if you really, really, really want to go to a regular full-time MBA program, the program will be reluctant to admit you. We will discuss the reasons in this presentation. But luckily, you have other options, and the other options might be an executive MBA or might be a full-time MBA for experienced candidates. At London Business School, it's called the Sloan Masters, but still, it's kind of an MBA for more experienced candidates. And this MBA can, as you can see, the average here at London Business School is candidates with 17 years of experience. So most people will go to college at 18 and start working at 22 or 23. That means the average age is around 40. Okay. So to answer my first question, can you still do an MBA at 30 or 40 or 40 plus? The answer is yes. But now let's look at the various options. So this was kind of a summary. Now let's dig into everything. I'm going to talk less quickly. So what I want to show is the various type of programs. I'm going to skip the Master in Management because that's only relevant for candidates with less than 2 years of experience. But let's talk about full-time, regular MBA programs. I like to call them regular in this specific presentation. And then let's look at the part-time programs and the executive MBA programs. And then we can look at these full-time senior MBA programs. And I'll try and just very quickly kind of give you the pros and cons and what each program is looking for. And hopefully this can help you. Obviously, just contact me on, private basis if you have a specific case. I also get a lot of borderline candidates. They're 32 and they're not sure what to apply to. And that's right. They could probably apply to the 2-year MBA program, to a 1-year senior MBA program, to an executive MBA program. This really depends on what you're looking for. So maybe this presentation will help you most. So let's look at the full-time MBA program. I also put here a little picture. I think that kind of explains it. It's kind of for early career candidates. And they're targeting either to advance or maybe to switch their career. The average age is usually 28. It can go up to 29 or 30 in some schools. It can even go to 27. And again, the work experience is very important, more than the age. So a lot of people say, I'm 34. And my question to them is, how many years of work experience do you have? Because that's what schools are actually looking for. And a lot of schools, officially or unofficially, will cap the number of years experience. This is super important to understand. I have now an amazing candidate with 20 years of experience. He's 45. Amazing, amazing experience, very senior. And he only wants to go to regular full-time MBA programs. The problem is they don't want him. So we've contacted many of the programs. We've explained why he wants to go to the programs. And they said, well, actually, we cap our candidates at 35, or actually more than 10 or 12 years of experience is the maximum. So these programs won't recruit people with more than 10 to 12 years of experience. Watch our other videos about full-time MBAs. In the US, most programs are 2 years. In Europe, most programs are 1 year. This is kind of a full-time immersive experience, and it's really to help you get to the next job, to get you to the next career level. And this kind of explains why they're not interested in a 40-year-old with 20 years of experience, because they have the regular MBA programs. They also have the employers that come to campus and recruit, and they want to make it all very simple. They don't like to work hard. So they have the regular candidates, the 28-year-old candidate with 4 to 5 years experience. Then they have the recruiters, McKinsey, Amazon, whatever recruiters are coming, that are looking for that kind of candidate with 5, 6, 4 years of experience under the age of 30, for example. So when someone comes with a different profile, the schools are saying, wait, I'm not even sure I'll be able to help him find a job. It's not worth the hassle, even if it's a very special candidate. So that's a bit about the full-time MBA program. If you want to know what the best MBA programs are, there's so many. And I think we've all heard of the top brands in the US and even in Europe. If you Google ARINGO MBA rankings, you'll see we've put a multiple rankings table where we compare the Financial Times and the US News and Business Week and Forbes. They used to have a rankings, and Economist used to have a rankings, and we kind of compile everything to our super score. And here I took our #1 super score MBA program for this year, which was Harvard, which was ranked 1 because it was ranked first on the Economist, but 10th on the Financial Times and 6 in US News. And we took lots of parameters and salaries and lots of other things. And this is just an example of one of the schools. Again, you can look at any other MBA rankings or our combined MBA rankings to learn more about the full-time regular MBA programs. Okay, so this presentation actually isn't about those programs. It's about programs which are fit for more experienced candidates. But before I talk about those, I did want to mention there is also a part-time MBA program. And it's designed obviously for people who want to work and to study at the same time. There's so many formats and so many names. There's weekends and evening MBAs. There's hybrids MBAs. There's also online MBAs. There's lots of things. There's block week MBAs. Average ages change, work experience change because there's lots of these programs. I put here a few afterwards. And the focus is on career advancement because you're already working somewhere. So the schools don't always try and promote here a career shift or career change. It's still possible. But still, if you're working today in New York, you're happy where you are, you want to advance, but you still want the MBA, but you don't want to leave your job, maybe NYU part-time MBA is a good solution for you. I think there's lots of pros here. Again, you don't leave everything. You kind of continue your work and continue the studies. I did see a few cons. It's not exactly the same experience as a full-time MBA. If Bill Gates comes to campus on Tuesday for a lecture, you might only be on campus on weekends. Or if there's clubs or activities, obviously you're studying less. You might be studying once a week. So it's not like a 5 or 6 day a week, 2 year program. Um, this is kind of a non-option for international candidates. Programs will not give you, or the US immigrations will not give you a US visa if you're only studying part-time. So you have to kind of be near-ish to the school. You can't kind of travel once a week to New York. There's no internships. Again, you kind of work somewhere, so it's less good for kind of career switching, right? You're already working somewhere and you continue working there. Um, the network opportunities, I don't know if they're smaller. Usually you kind of stick to your class and there isn't much beyond your class, unlike a full-time MBA where you kind of in the school all day and clubs and activities and you kind of meet hundreds of people. Still, it's a good option, okay? I'm not saying it's a bad option if it's for you. If you're not actively looking to change your career or actively looking for a new job, or kind of want the school to help you with this, I think it's a very good option. Okay, let's move on. I put here some good options again, mostly in the US. There's some other options in Europe as well. Some do not require a GMAT, most do. And you can see the tuition is quite expensive. There's also scholarships, not many and not many full ride scholarships. You can, if you're a good candidate and have a high GMAT, you might get $30,000 or $40,000 scholarship, but probably not much more than that. To keep that into account, on the other hand, you're working, right? So you're not losing a whole year or 2 years of not working. Okay, executive MBAs are actually very, very similar, but they put in the word senior. So they're very similar, but as you can see, the average age usually is 35, 36, 37, 40, depends on which program we're looking at. The work experience, if in the part-time MBA, on average was 5 or 7 or 10, depends which program. Here it's usually double digits. It can be 10 or 12 or 14 on average. Um, the formats are very, very commuter-friendly based, if you can say that. A lot of people don't live in the city where the executive MBA is happening, and especially the European programs, they're really, really meant for commuters and built for commuters. So London Business School has a every 2 week program on weekends, and people come from New York or people come from all over the world for these weekends. Um, EMBA Global, which is a London Business School, Columbia, or NCAD Global Executive MBA, are once a month. So once a month, you travel for 5 days, and you can you could do it. Doesn't matter where you live in the world. If you live in Asia, if you live in the Middle East, if you live in the US, you can make these programs happen. In the US, the programs they just change. So some programs every few weeks. MIT Sloan Executive MBA is every 3 weeks. Columbia have different programs, weekends or once in a few weeks. Kellogg Northwestern have a campus in Florida, which is once a month. So it's also very good for commuting if you're coming from South America, for example. So there's lots and lots of different formats. And you obviously continue working throughout the degree. So as you can see, it's very similar to this part-time MBA. It's just for more senior candidates. There's also some global opportunities. I really like them. Like I mentioned, EMBA Global, Trium, which is a Trium in French. It's a HSC Paris, London School of Economics, and NYU triple joint program. And there's some other kind of global programs. Very interesting. I put your list. This is when you pause YouTube and you can look at the list. As you can see, the tuition is very, very high. One reason is a lot of employers pay for candidates to go to these MBAs. So that's a good reason. But it's really expensive. And again, it's not for everyone. As you can see, the average ages can be 35 till, or even more, 37, 8, 40, depends which program, but great programs. Now we come to something who, for this discussion, let's call full-time, senior, MBAs. And what they're dedicated for senior candidates, and they will have a minimum amount of years experience. The minimum changes. I think MIT Sloan Fellows is 10 years. London Business School, I think, has 12 years, and the other three programs have 7 or 8 years, depends which program. These are 1-year programs, and they're full-time. You leave everything. You can't work throughout the program, and you leave everything. It's actually quite similar to the 2-year MBA. But again, you learn in a dedicated senior people class, but you still go to all the clubs and student activities. So you're still kind of gaining the full experience. And again, it's amazing. You don't work throughout the degree, but it kind of builds you up to your next leadership and managerial program. There's 5 amazing programs. I'll just mention them quite quickly. Foster Gember is Foster in the University of Washington in Seattle. Global Executive MBA, but it's a one-time full-time program, one-time full-time program, 1-year full-time program. You don't have to take the GMAT, which is a good advantage, and they have 100% employment at the end of the program for international applicants as well. So again, employability is high. It's a great program. Same goes with USC Marshall MBA, Marshall Business School IBER MBA, which is a 1-year MBA in USC. Also here you have some GMAT waivers. Stanford have a very interesting program called MSx. Again, Google it, but it's a 1-year MBA for senior candidates, and the GMAT or executive assessment or GRE are required. MIT Sloan Fellows, amazing 1-year program. GMAT's optional. And London Business School Sloan program, the name changed this year. I can't remember the new name. Yes, it needs a GMAT or GRE or executive assessment, but there are some waivers. As you see, these programs are very expensive, and there's very, very little scholarships. Definitely no full ride scholarships here because this is for senior candidates. Okay, so which is the right program for you? So I think you can kind of scroll back to that London Business School slide and see, like, first of all, how many years of experience do you have? Do you have 2 years of experience? You can't go for the 40-year-old program. Do you have 15 years of experience? You can't go for the full-time regular MBAs. So this leaves you kind of executive MBA, which is part-time, or full-time senior executive MBAs, which is one of the 5. So first of all, let's think where you are, what stage, how old are you? How many years of experience? And obviously location is very important. Do you want to continue living where you are today? Do you want to do a big step, a big shift, a big move? This is up to you. The program length is also important, and what kind of model do you want to kind of do it in 1 year? I didn't mention the executive MBAs are usually around 2 years. So you kind of can do it part-time in 2 years or full-time in 1 year. Do you want this kind of immersive experience, or do you want kind of a just to do it while you continue your other things in life? Another thing is specializations, although I have to admit that a lot of these programs offer kind of the same things. And if I just look at some of the key things I put here, there's electives that cover everything: entrepreneurship, finance, strategy, marketing, or general management. So it's still important, but you can kind of cover all these in all the programs. And obviously this global exposure comes to the location a bit. Where would you like to study? What kind of experience do you want? And the last and not least, is also admissions requirements. It's fantastic that you want Stanford, but you might not get in. So let's just check that you have kind of the prerequisites and the requirements. Talk to me. I'll tell you if you have a good chance of getting in and what programs. So this is what we do for a living. Check us out on ARINGO.com, and we can help you with the program that is suited for you. So I just put here a nice picture to finish, but I think it kind of also shows that if you don't have a lot of experience and you're looking to career switch or boost, go for the regular full-time MBA. If you're kind of looking not to do too many changes, but also have an MBA, like the middle part, the part-time and the executive MBAs are for you. If you're a senior candidate that just wants to change, wants to kind of invest a whole year in yourself, these full-time programs we discussed are amazing, amazing opportunities. So again, this is what we do for a living. I'm always available for profile evaluation, to help you with some school selection, maybe even work together on some amazing applications. Check us out on ARINGO.com, be in touch, and see you in the next videos and in your MBA. Good luck. Bye for now.